All right. Done. I'm so excited to be here with Kathleen this afternoon, mom of 4. I mean, seriously, 4. 2 boys, 2 girls. Almost like the Brady Bunch. That's really awesome how you did that, 2 boys and 2 girls. I never got that down.
I totally planned it that way too. Nah, not even close. No.
I did too. I tried to plan it and I failed miserably. I'm telling you.
Oh.
Okay. So I'm super excited for everyone to hear your story. I know explained a little bit about how we want to just get into your mind, like in the beginning, right? When you first joined Plexus. So I was so inspired by the John Maxwell conversation at Leaders Retreat and how he talked about the levels of management, right? 1 to 10. Right.
Yeah,
and so,
I love that.
Yes. So my question for you is, when you joined Plexus, where do you think your leadership level was?
Wow. Honestly, when I first joined, there was no even thought of leadership at all. It was not that at all. When I first joined, it was so authentic. And I don't know if Erin shared this. I know that Erin did one of these calls recently. I don't know if she shared this part, that I hit silver and didn't know what silver was. That's how far removed from what a leader is supposed to be. But once after that point, so I'm telling you, if you're starting, you have no idea what that means. It's okay. Neither did I. And you could still make it in. It's okay. So once I figured out what that was and a little bit of the compensation plan, again, I still never thought about the leadership part. And I think that actually helped along the way. Building this business with the passion and confidence in the products build your leadership ability, in my mind. When you begin and have such authentic belief in the company and how wonderful these products are, you stand a little taller and your confidence is a little bigger, and you're doing it so authentically and to care for other people and how they feel. Of course, your leadership builds because people get drawn into you naturally. So you don't have to have a rank status to build your leadership. That has nothing to do with it, actually, because there are some jewels in this company that leadership is in the toilet, and they just got there because people underneath them had leadership ability. So don't discount yourself just because you just started out or you're just a silver or something like that. If you have strength and power and passion in your gut, and you say, I can do this, who cares that my friends or spouses or whomever think I'm crazy, because I know it and I believe it because I've seen people's successes, that's where your leadership will grow. So does that kind of...
Yo, it's true. Well, and that's interesting. So obviously you don't feel like you were a very strong leader in the beginning. You grew with your team, which is pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Organic.
Absolutely. And when I hit Ruby-ish, that's when everything kind of rubber hit the road and said, oh, I got people. I got to figure out what's going on. And at that point, everything changed of how I started reading so much more on professional and personal development, and I grew internally so much more. But it was the authentic, real part between when I first started and hit Ruby. And honestly, that was about 4 months. So that was like 4 months of...
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It was amazing.
Okay, so let's back up 4 months. Okay, 4 months. Okay. Yeah. I just have to get past that. Okay, so tell me this then. Okay, so when you first started, obviously you hit silver. You didn't even know what silver was. You were climbing because obviously you hit Ruby in 4 months. So what did that look like? How did, you were obviously onboarding new ambassadors. So what was the conversation? What were you talking to your new people about initially?
Okay, initially when I first started in January, but I don't even really count that because it was like the end of January. I didn't even know what I was doing. So I'm going to say February is when I hit silver, right then, beginning of February. And it was solely it grew so fast because I felt great. As I said before, it's that authentic passion. But we had, in the very beginning, we were guided to do these customer groups, which were great and bad at the same time. I, like so many of you guys, was scared out of my mind to put anything Plexus on my wall because I really thought people were going to think I'm crazy. And I didn't want my friends or family that didn't want this to get turned away and think that all that, everything that you guys feel, I felt that too. So we started these customer groups and I felt more confident sharing there. So I shared everything, testimonies, information about the products. I loved it. So I was super passionate and it grew that way. So not many of us do customer groups anymore. So I certainly encourage you, share more testimony, share stories of your friends on your wall. Get past it. I can say that now because there was nothing to be afraid of. Because my friends and family that didn't want the products, they still support me. And if they don't, oh well. So anyway, so that part aside, I just authentically shared as much as I could. And I didn't just throw the stuff out there and post. I reached out to, and when they say make your Franks list, there's a reason why they say that, because guess what? It actually works. So I reached out to every one of my friends and I said, hey guys, guess what? I slept through the night and I woke up not in pain and I have energy for my 4 babies, which by the way, they are all born less than 5 years apart. So it's pregnancy on top of pregnancy. So if I can feel good, then all of my friends say, oh my God, if Kath can feel good after all of that and run her kids to the ground, I'll try it, because they believe in me and they trusted me. So I reached out to everybody that I knew privately. That grew authentically. So once they joined and felt great, we bring in so many people nowadays and just say, here for the discount. Don't say that. Don't say it. I don't even like the word wholesale anymore because it gives the wrong connotation. When you sign on as an ambassador, don't say, hey, you can get it just for the discount and not share. You say, great. Now you're going to find your friends so they feel great too. Don't even give them that option. We never had that option when we started. That's the difference when we first started.
Idea. Oh my gosh. That's a great point.
We didn't even know that word. For the first year and a half, there was no such thing as wholesale. And it wasn't until other teams that were doing it, we're like, oh, well, we just bring people on that like the products and then they start to share. How about we try that?
Yeah, right.
So, So that's really what, I mean, it sounds basic, like duh, we say this all the time, but really when you sit down and actually message 5 to 10 friends a day and say, guys, I feel great, you should too. It really actually works.
It does work. Because the honesty, it's all about honesty, right? But I love that whole thing of like, it is so simple, but it's all about wording and being able to say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Now you can share with your 3 friends. I mean, right? It's all about getting everyone to silver and getting everyone, invested in a future. That's awesome. So that makes sense. So that's what you were saying.
Yes. And I even said that to Christine Savicki is my upline. And when I first started, I said, Christine, I can't do that. My family, because I have a huge family and they're going to think I'm nuts. And she said, nope, this is what you do. And she wasn't pushy. She was just very matter of fact about it. Right. Because if I would have been that person that just got it for the discount. Right. And I probably would have quit a long time ago because financially we were on one income at the time. I was a stay-at-home mom on maternity leave. Think of how many people are on your team right now that you're letting be wholesale. How long will they stay? If it were me, probably 4 months. And then my husband would say, no.
It's so true. We just had that conversation today. There's so much truth there. Yeah.
I'm no special compared to anybody else. I was just instructed in the very onset to share, and I did. And this is
so. Let's talk about you. You are a speech pathologist, so you're a professional, right? So did that play into some of your concerns in sharing?
I started out, it's really very strange. I have a degree in speech therapy, a master's degree in special education, and an advanced degree to be a principal special director. That was
right.
So 2 master's degrees. I'm sitting on my couch right now. Anyway, so that
making a lot more money, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, right. That it definitely played a role in it, good and bad. I chatted with a lot of my friends at school about it, and some started, some didn't. That's okay. We kept plugging along. When I left teaching, I got, holy cow, the amount of people said, you're leaving a secure job for this. Are you sure? Oh my gosh, the amount of those. I got it. I'm kind of sure. Thanks though.
Yeah.
But good and bad, that I think it gave the validity that I'm not a fly-by-night flighty person. I've never really done something like this before. I feel good in being authentic and true. So it was good and bad that I had that degree also.
That's amazing. And I have to beg to differ. If you have all of those master's degrees, I would have to put your management level up higher. Maybe not. Maybe you didn't think, your Plexus management level was high, but you were definitely a put together person that other people, that respected your opinion and what you were saying about products. So I love that. So tell me about your team. So obviously in 4 months, you had quite a few people underneath you if you were Ruby in 4 months.
Yeah, we definitely
Tell me about your level ones. Like how, obviously I really think the key component was the communicating it. I mean, seriously, Christine too, okay, now you're going to share. So your level ones were actually working the business, most of them.
Oh, yes, they were. I did have a few that tried a little. They would have been the authentic wholesale people. They tried a little bit, but for one reason or another didn't want to. And I think that had a lot to do with also their commitment with the products. They weren't very, just like everyone has, they're not very consistent with the products, and everyone has those. Don't think that just because I'm a diamond, I don't have that too. The ratio is the same. Here's the thing. The ratio of how many worker bees you have versus wholesale people you have is probably the same. You just need to get a bigger ratio of them, Right. But so in the very beginning, the people that I talked with, I don't want it to sound that I was pushy. I just didn't give them an excuse. As an example, one of my level ones that said, I tried the 7-day trial and can't do it. I don't have the money. I'm like, well, yeah, you do. We'll figure it out. You can share with blah, 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 blah. Oh, she says, okay. Well, I'm really quiet and shy. Too bad. The people that I just talked about aren't. So let's talk to them and they could share. And it was not the business mindset. I wanted to find a way for her to get these products. Right. And she says, I'm physically cutting up my credit cards right now. I said, well, that's more. And I guess I didn't give her an excuse. She kept giving them to me and saying, if you're cutting up your credit cards, you need this even more. Yeah. And now that person is an Emerald Ambassador under me. So
how amazing is that?
It is. And it feels, man, her life has changed. And I think about it like, oh my God, if I let her just say, oh, your credit card's being cut up. Okay, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
It warms my heart. I didn't change her life. Mm-hmm. She changed it herself, but I just didn't give her an excuse to let her life be the excuse.
I love that. So. That's amazing. Because what is no? No means maybe not right now, or no means let's figure something out. Let's help you problem solve this. I think for me, I think that that's something I need to improve on. I love the whole, here we go, let's do it. And it's it's not like this is a requirement. It's just, this is what we're doing. And it's more of an encouragement. Because Plexus changes lives.
I always say that no, as the educator in me, no just means they don't know enough.
Right.
Because if they knew enough, they would be doing it.
Doing it, yes. Oh my God, no brainer, right?
And the concept that in the very beginning, and I think we need to go back to that, no just means, okay, I'll give you more. And I'm in the process, almost 4 years into it, I'm in the process of still, I was just chatting with like four new people this morning that are on that fence that everyone has. Mm-hmm. Don't let them say no. Get to the root of why they're saying no in the first place, and help them. Yeah. Because they're not saying no to you, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have heard that waitress example, that the waitress that is offering coffee to everyone in the restaurant, and she's walking around and half the people say, yes, I'd like some more. But those people that say no thank you to the coffee, they're not saying no thank you to the waitress. They're saying no thank you to the coffee. So come around again later. That's the mindset that I never take anything personally, probably stuff that I should take personally, right. But I don't.
I think that's so key though, because it's not personal. You're exactly right. You explained it so well. So if you were to go back to your person at the beginning and tell her something, what would you tell her?
Oh, strap in. I really would, because this is a ride that I was not prepared for. And the biggest thing, I would go back and I would say, talk to your husband, talk to the person that you're doing this with, and get them to strap in too. Because I say this a lot to people, because so often this is a mostly women run place, because we like to talk and communicate, and that's how this business is sold. So often men don't. There are men on here, and it's great. We need more of them. But I started this, and my husband he's not secretive about it. He did not want me to do this at all. Even when I was pretty close to hitting Emerald and all that, it was taking away from family. It was taking away from him, and I was becoming a new person. And I didn't go back and invest and tell him and bring him in with me in the beginning. So if you have people going through that right now, it's okay. You're not alone. I would just say, go back to your spouse and sit down with them and say, this could be life-changing for our family. Let's talk about it together and do it together. That's what I would tell myself in the beginning. And then I would say, really evaluate everything and take this business seriously, because the more you take it seriously, the business will take you seriously and you'll get paid seriously. So many people take it as a hobby, like a little side job, which is wonderful. That's great. If you want it serious, you got to treat it serious, because this company is no joke.
Yeah, I agree. I brought my husband to Leaders Retreat for that reason. I was like, I want you to be immersed and hear what this company is about. And he left blown away, honestly, completely blown away. So I agree, because the little digs and the little, because it is time consuming. That's another thing we've been talking about with our team, is that it is, in the beginning, it's a lot of investment, and sometimes it's hard. And when your spouse isn't on board, it's even harder. So that's awesome. I agree. Really, really giving them the chance to own the whole experience, because it is an experience, right?
Yes, and it is. And honestly, to full disclosure, how much he was against it before, he's totally on board now, realizing the legitimacy of the company, the people, the products. He needed to be on board with that. And don't leave the company because the spouse isn't on board. Again, it's about education. See if the spouse will get on board with more education. Right. Or have him call my spouse.
There you go. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And so I love that too, because it's, I always tell my team too, it's about casting the vision. Like, if we're not getting the answers that we want, we're doing something wrong. We have to look backwards at ourselves and figure out how to cast that vision correctly. So when you cast the vision to your team now, what's some of the pointers on actually casting the full vision of what Plexus actually offers?
I think living it is a big part of casting the vision, which is crazy, because if you look at, say, the disclosure agreement of the price or the commissions for the rankings and all that, it's kind of crazy that it's just me that's in that. crazy ranking part. But showing them that, yes, like my upline Christine lives in the next town over, and both of us go to Hawaii every year, have the car, and she was at my house this morning, and both of us in sweatpants and talking about the business and loving it. So casting the vision is really more about time freedom, and doing something you love is the biggest part, I think, of anything. That look at your life right now, and what do you wish that you could change? And then how can Plexus be a part of that change? That's how I go through every potential, every customer, everything. What don't you like about your life, health-wise, financially, anything, and how can Plexus fill that void?
That's awesome. I was listening to a podcast this morning of someone just like you, and they said the same thing. They're like, evaluate your current situation and find the pain. Is there pain in your current situation? And then take that pain and push that to drive you through the hard days to success. Because, I mean, really, that's what your why is, everything. Oh my gosh. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love talking to all you girls because everyone is so different. And that's what the cool thing about this business is that it is a big, huge quilt of all these different personalities and backgrounds that, you know, are still successful. You know, there's no one recipe to success. So if you were to give a leader, I mean, you give so much great advice. I mean, because I'm on your team, I hear it all the time. But like, if you were to give like one big piece of advice to leaders out there, what would you say? What's your number one leadership suggestion?
My number one is, my favorite thing is silver ranking. My favorite thing. And I think it is so key to building a business, because it is not about you at all. It's about that new person that comes in. Think of it like the first day of school in a new building. They come in huge doe eyes, not knowing squat, and there's so much to learn. Break it down for them. Show them the few key things they need to know in the beginning, meaning love your products and use them every day, period. Secondly, find people to do it with you, because it makes it more fun. You become more consistent, and you get paid a little bit along the way. Third is have fun with it. Those three things. Once you do, people stay. Once you're a silver ambassador, you have your friends with you. You brought in your spouse, your sister, your neighbor, your best friend. They're not going anywhere, because once you really get a little bit of a paycheck, but once you find all the other friends and everybody's intertwined, you stay. So don't let people stay wholesale, because that means they're not tied into our little gold diggers group. They don't have anybody else to talk to the products about and to see if they're doing it right or anything. So then they leave. And this is a family. It's so much more than just selling products. So that is my key thing that I really would love to see everyone in my downline find people to do this with and go silver, if nothing else. I mean, yes, other rankings would be great, but yeah.
I'm having all these aha moments in this conversation.
Good.
Awesome. So awesome. All right. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you so much.
No sweat.
See if I even know how to stop the recording. Here we go. Okay. Do you want to stop the cloud recording?